Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Sir, I would like
Morning,
to
sir.
welcome. I would like to welcome Secretary, sir, Department of Pension. It is with his initiative that we have started these series of outreach programs in which we are reaching the pensioners directly. Sir, today, as you had desired, we have our pensioners with us, mostly aged 75 and above, and we are trying to cover South India by and large, sir. And so it's a very, very important program today, since in the awareness program, we would be covering a lot of information on family pension and commutation of pension, additional pension, and also the recently launched face authentication technology to give live certification. Sir has been very kind to give us this opportunity, and he is participating because he has a series of very important meetings also scheduled today. So I would first request Sir to give his welcome address. Mr. V. Srinivas, Secretary Pension.
Very good morning. I have some very recognized faces. Mr. Shanmugam Pillaiji, good morning. I saw you in the last meeting also, and I'm happy to see you again. I see Mr. Mahalingam also. He was there in one of our last meetings. Then I go through the list of participants. I have a lot of familiar faces I notice, and this is my third interaction the with the pensioners associations, and today I was very keen to discuss two new technologies. One is family pensions should be discussed, and also the face authentication technology should be discussed. So these I thought were very important matters. A few days back, the former chief secretary of Gujarat, his family had reached out to me saying that there was a problem in administering their family pension, and I felt an intervention was immediately necessary from the higher levels in government of India. So that actually sensitized me to the challenges that senior pensioners are facing with regard to administering family pensions. So I thought I must meet all of you once to understand how family pensions are currently being implemented and what are the challenges, if any, that need to be addressed. The second one I wanted to understand is with regard to the face authentication app that has been launched recently, and how is the progress on the face authentication application, and also there have been the consolidation of CCS pension rules, CCS commutation rules, which the department undertook after a number of years. So, in terms of knowledge dissemination, I wanted to have another round of interactions with each of you to understand whether there were any areas which required government intervention and which required any further inputs from the higher governance levels. So, this was the broad objective. Of course, I'm getting to know you better, and I'm happy to meet all of you once again. And what we have listed for the agenda today, we'd like to be more in listening mode. There is a brief presentation that the Department of Pension has arranged. So we can see that, and then we'd like to listen to you and understand from you how the various issues that I have flagged can be best addressed. So
Uh,
thank you very much for making time to join this meeting today. Yes,
Thank you
Sanjeev
so
ji.
much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So, how we have structured today's program that we'll have a series of these presentations and then we'll have the interactive session, sir. Because there are so many pensioners who are right now online, sir. So, we have requested them to, because we have a WhatsApp group also with them and also a mail and on the message board. So, we will take the questions from there also, sir. So, now, sir, I would request Shri Harjeet Singh, our senior consultant, to start the presentation, family pension, additional pension, and commutation of pension. Mr. Harjeet Singh, please start.
Good morning, sir. So in this presentation, sir, we will be covering basically three things. One is family pension, then additional pension, and then commutation of pension, which are of interest to the pensioners. So first we'll cover this family pension. So first we will know who are the members in the family who are eligible for family pension on death of a pensioner. It's like so, on death of a pensioner, this is the order: first, widow or widower. If there is a widow or widower, the family pension will go to the widow or widower. If there are no widower, then it goes to the children. Children within children, the first priority is the children below the age of 25 years. If there is no child within this 25 years, then it will be given to a child who is having some disability. And if there is no child with disability, then it will go on to a unmarried, widowed, or divorced daughter. So this is the order in which the family pension is given, one at a time, basically. Then, if there are no widow or widower and no children, then it goes to the parents. And if there are no parents, then it goes to siblings with a disability. Other children, other siblings are not eligible. Only the siblings with a disability and who are not in a earning capacity, they only are eligible for a family pension. Then children other than disabled children, they are eligible for family pension if they are dependent. They were dependent on the government servant at the time of their death. And dependency is taken by the total income, and income it should not exceed the minimum family pension plus DA they are on. For example, today the minimum family pension is 9,000 rupees per month plus and DA is 31%. If somebody's income is more than this, say around 11,000, 12,000 or more, then he will not be eligible for family pension. Then dependent children, disabled children or parents or disabled siblings, they can be co-authorized in the PPO. When a pensioner government servant retires, in his PPO, normally the name of the spouse is indicated. But if there are no other eligible members along with the spouse, the name of a disabled child or a dependent parents or disabled siblings, whosoever is first in the priority, her name can also be included in the PPO. And when the spouse is no longer there, then the family pension will automatically be given by the bank, and he will not have to go back to the office to get his PPO issued. On the basis of the same PPO, the bank will disburse the pension. Next. So, what is the amount of family pension if a pensioner dies? If a pensioner dies, then up to the age of if he survived, had he survived 60 up to the age of 67 years or for 7 years, whichever is earlier, the family pension is given at the rate of 50%. But after that, the family pension rate is 30% of the basic pay. So, and minimum family pension is rupees 9,000, and if it is given at 50%, then it is 1,25,000. And if it is given in 30%, then the maximum family pension is 75,000 per month. Next. For a child with a disability, there are special provision in the rules. It is family pension to a child with a disability is payable for life, and for a mentally retarded child, there is a provision that, for example, after the death of the parents, there will be nobody to look after the mentally retarded child. So there is a provision: either the guardian, or if there is no guardian, the parents can themselves nominate somebody. They can nominate somebody after their death, the so and so will be looking after and will be getting the family pension in respect of the disabled child, mentally retarded child. So this is a provision which is rarely being used, and I will request the pensioners to make use of this provision. If there is anybody disabled child, mentally retarded child, then they should nominate somebody so that after their death, the child doesn't suffer. Then In the case, as I mentioned, in the case of other children, the dependency is decided by the income, that is rupees 9,000 plus DA. But in the case of disabled child, the eligibility criteria is relaxed, and it is, in their case, the minimum, the income should not exceed minimum the family entitled family pension. For example, if the last pay is rupees 1 lakh, then his income should not be more than rupees 30,000 is the normal family pension. It should not exceed more than 30,000 plus DA. So 9,000 criteria does not apply in the case of a child with a disability. And one important provision is that a child with a disability is eligible for family pension only if the disability had occurred during the lifetime of the parents. If some parents have died and family pension has stopped, then subsequently the child gets disabled, then in that case the family pension will not be available to the disabled child. Then disability certificate, many times people are asked to give disability certificate on more than one occasion every year or something. The disability certificate is to be given only once. Once the family pension is sanctioned, if the disability is permanent, then there is no need to give this disability certificate frequently. It will be given only once, but only in the case of temporary disability, the disability certificate is to be given once every 5 years. Next. So in the case of unmarried or widowed or divorced daughter, they are eligible for family pension even after the age of 25 years. So, but their turn will come only if there is no child below the age of 25 years and there is no other child with a disability. If there is a child with a disability, even if he or she is younger to that widowed or divorced or unmarried daughter, he will be eligible for family pension, and this daughter will not be eligible for family pension. And another important provision is that the widowed or divorced daughter will be eligible for family pension if the death of her husband or the divorce took place during the lifetime of her parents. If some daughter gets widowed or gets divorced after the death of the parents, then she will not be entitled to family pension. But there is a exception to that, that if the divorce petition was filed during the lifetime of the parents, then in that case, then the divorce actually takes, the decree is issued after the death of the parent. In that case also the daughter will be eligible for family pension, but only from the date that decree is issued, that the divorce actually takes place. Next. Normally, as I've mentioned, the family pension is payable to only one person at a time, but in certain circumstances, the family pension can be shared by more than one person. For example, if there is more than one widow and they are legally widowed, if the personal law permits that, then only it can be divided between one or more than one, 2 or 3, whatever widows. Then if there is a widow and an eligible child from a wife who has already died, and it was the widow is from second marriage, then the child from earlier marriage will also be eligible for family pension. So then it will be shared between the widow and the child from the earlier marriage. Then if there is a widow and an eligible child from a divorced wife or from a wide or wideable marriage child, then in that case also the family pension will be shared by widow and the child from wide or wideable marriage or from divorced wife. Then children from two, if there are more than one marriage already and there are children from those marriages, then children from those, if they are eligible, they will be eligible to share the family pension. Then if there are twin children and you cannot decide who is elder or who is younger, in that case the family pension will be shared by the twin children. Then in certain cases, normally a person gets only one family pension, but in some cases a person can get even 2 family pension. These are the circumstances. For example, if a child, if his or her both parents are government servants, If one dies, then the family pension goes to the other, to his or her spouse. But after both of them die, then the family pension in respect of both the parents goes to the eligible child. But the only thing is that this the total of the two family pension should not exceed the maximum admissible family pension for that is 1,25,000 if it is an enhanced family pension, and 75,000 if it is normal family pension. So if there is a military pensioner and he is getting a pension from the military, and then he comes to the civil service and he is also getting a pension from civil side, and if he dies, then family pension will be admissible from both the sources. So widow will be getting family pension from military also and from civil side also. Then there is another one, if there is a dependent, for example, if there is a if a government servant dies, his wife widow gets family pension, and but this family, and if that widow has a child who is in the government service, and if the child also dies, then this, because the widow is getting a family pension, she will not be considered to be having her income. This family pension will not be treated as income, so she will be considered as dependent on government child also. And if the child also dies, then she will be eligible for to get both the family pension in respect of her husband as well as in respect of her child. But the only, as I mentioned, the total of the two family pension cannot exceed the maximum admissible family pension, whether enhanced or ordinary. Next. So now we come to how does a pensioner, if a pensioner dies, how should his or her family claim family pension? So spouse and disabled child, or the disabled child or dependent parents, whomsoever the name is there in the PPO, he or she will have to approach the bank straight away, along with the form 12, along with the death certificate and ID proof, and the family pension will start right from the bank. He doesn't have to go to the office to get his or her family pension sanctioned. So sometimes we get complaints that the banks ask for details of the family members, other family members, etc. But that is not required at all. Only the details which are required in Form 12 only, they are to be given. So no other details are required, and nothing else is to be given. So only that limited information in Form 12 is to be given. If one thing is important here, if the spouse, we encourage the spouse, government servant, to have a joint account with the spouse, so that if the government servant dies, the spouse will get the family pension from the same account. Otherwise, if the government servant dies, then the spouse will have to get a new account open, and that will delay and create some difficulties also. So it is always advisable to have a joint account. So otherwise the procedure is same, that they will have to fill a form 12 for getting this family pension. So as per our rules, the bank has to commence the family pension.
Please tell the details of Form 12.
Form 12, तान्या जरा वो hyperlink कर दी. This is a Form 12, which is a new form in the new rules, no? Because we have notified, as the Secretary Sir mentioned, we have notified the new rules in 2021, and this form is in that new rules. It's not very legible. So I will request everybody to go through that Form 12 that is available on our website also. The whole entire rules are available. Form 12 is also available. So if you can see, there are not much details to be given, only the names, government servant's name and claimant's name and his account number, etc. is to be given. Not much details are to be given. Then if